With patch 2.6 in Season 3 coming February 16th, a handful of new helmet runewords were announced. Macro Bioboy, Barricade, and Mr. Llama have already heavily vetted these with a swirl of different opinions. However, what needed to be ultimately dissected was how quickly you could acquire the ingredients to craft them. Spoiler alert, Nightmare Countess is the key, but first, we need to secure the right base helmet. In order to roll the new 2.6 runewords, a 3-socket helm is required. Items have a 33% chance to drop with sockets, and you can leverage the cube socket recipe to roll 3 sockets 66% of the time for eligible helmets, and you can also take it to Larzik for a guaranteed 3 sockets. The Elite Diadem and the Exceptional Tiara are eligible helms, but these helms are found later in the game in Hell due to their quality and treasure class groupings. If you are a druid or a barbarian, acquiring a pelt or primal base can be done as early as normal, non-terrorized, as they only require item level 26 to roll 3 sockets. This leaves only 3 non-pelt or primal helmet bases that can be used in the early mid-game to craft these runewords, and those are the Mask, Great Helm, and Crown. The first vital value to unpack is quality level or Q level. Quality level is directly associated with monster level. Therefore, the monster needs to be equal or greater to said Q level to be eligible to drop from its associated treasure class group. But just because the item can drop doesn't mean it meets the appropriate requirements for sockets. This is where the item level comes in. Item level is an important variable in determining items affixes, including sockets. In the case of these 3 helms, they all require item level 41 or greater, which means that the monster level must also be 41 or higher to acquire 3 sockets through one of the options mentioned earlier. You may be wondering, can these be shot from vendors? And the unfortunate answer is no. Knowing that these require monsters to be level 41 or higher, where can they drop? While technically you can begin to find these in normal starting in Act 5, there is only a handful of monster types such as Abominable, Blood Temptress, Defiled Warrior, and Death Lord, to name a few, that meet those requirements, including the Bale Waves and Bale himself. But sadly, the drop chances are not very friendly. Once you proceed into Nightmare, the first area level that exceeds 41 is Tower level 4 on your way to the Countess. Therefore, every monster moving forward in this area is eligible to drop base items that can roll 3 sockets. Fortunately, there's possibly an even faster way to acquire one of these bases. Let me show you. Nishi created one of the great new drop calculators, and one of the most powerful functions of his calculator is the ability to multi-select items, creating a cumulative or intersection. You see the relative probability of finding one of the 3 primary selected bases on the screen by clearing an entire area or specific monsters. In a non-terrorized situation, once you proceed into Act 2 Nightmare, you should focus on tombs. Its game data by directional proxy indicates that you should be able to acquire one of these bases by 2 full tomb runs. These are directional because we always have to account for the nature of no drop and RNG. On the flip side, once you slay Bale, you could elect to power through certain terrorized zones back in normal, such as cows, where it predicts you should be able to find one of these bases in only a single full cow clear. But then again, you are at the will of Blizzard's TZ randomizer. Now that we know how to best acquire our base, it is time to focus on Nightmare Countess. The Countess is a primary key due to her special rune table, which enables her to have the potential to drop multiple runes. For example, her standard loot table in Nightmare can drop up to Co-Rune, with her special rune table dropping up to IO Rune, a primary rune for these new helmets. When farming Countess, you want to do so on players 1, as this keeps her standard loot at a higher no drop percentage, increasing the probability of multiple picks from her special rune table. Using some baseline averages, assuming that you can complete a Nightmare Countess run in approximately 3 minutes, we should achieve 20 runs in the hour, securing every rune needed to craft the new 2.6 helmets. The data on the screen is from another powerful new drop calculator, D2 Drop Dash. These graphs showcase Nightmare Countess on players 1 and the per run probability of dropping these runes. The beauty of Nightmare Countess is that you can acquire multiple copies of these runes along the way, including the opportunity to get more than 1 IO rune, the hardest to find early on. When we take a step back and look at these chances, you have an approximate 3.95% chance per run to find an IO rune. If RNG did not bless you, you can take 3 Hell runes plus a chip diamond and craft up into an IO. Now, while all of these runes are eligible to drop in normal, IO is only available from Bale, And like with the helms, the drop rates are not nearly as enticing as Countess, as he only has a 0.06% chance to drop it. While these runewords were not the sexiest of additions in 2.6, they certainly were upgrades from Nadir and Radiance, as lore was really the primary early runeword option. While I would certainly not classify any of these above C tier outside of Bulwark, they all have their niche farming use cases. As we think about Cure and the ability to wear this when power farming normal or Nightmare and Dariel, she has an immense amount of poison damage, and this is a great option and alternative. When we think about the ability to go to Mephisto in Act 3 and his lightning damage, ground is a slot option if you don't have anything better. As you think about Temper and areas such as Travincle and Chaos with a lot of fire damage, this also is going to be something great you can toss on as an option and alternative. And then we finish with Hearth. So when we think about Act 5, there's a lot of cold damage there. This might be something you want to toss on. But at the end of the day, the B tier of the mid-game group is certainly Bulwark, as we think about this as truly a mini vampire gaze with the life leech and the physical damage reduction. Whether you want to wear this as a melee character on yourself or putting this on a mercenary, it is an amazing mid-game option before finding something such as a Rockstopper, a Talls, a Vampire Gaze, or of course the coveted Andariel Helm.